What's up, cousins? It's DYANAROZAY, and I bring a unique commentary to your favorite reality TV shows and whatever is popping on social media. I need you guys to come in, join the discussion, become a subscriber if you are not already, and make sure your notification bells are on so that you don't miss a thing. What's up, Supreme Team? Welcome to the channel. It's your girl, DYANAROZAY, and I am here late with the RHOA review, child, because I needed to get it done before the end of the month, okay? So we are here, and there's all kinds of stuff going on. From what I'm understanding, Ashley made a post a little bit earlier regarding, is it Angela and Shamia's mess? Miss Angela, if you guys take the poll at the top of the chat, because I was shocked. I was shocked that Angela went out as bad as she did on Sunday night, child. And I know a lot of people are blaming Portia, but I don't think this has anything to do with Portia. This has to do with Angela and some insecurities that she have around Shamia, baby. Y'all know Charles is an ex-basketball player, whatever. Shamia is a beautiful woman, and there are some people, there's a lot of women actually, not some. There's a lot of women that do not like women who are pretty, women who know that they're pretty, women who, like Shamia, flirts a lot. Men, she knows she's very desirable to men. She likes to twerk and, let it all out. And there are a lot of women who don't like that shit, especially if they're married and especially if they're insecure in their marriage. You know what I'm saying? They'll start calling that woman all kinds of names and looking for shit. That's just what it is. And it's been that way since the beginning of time. Okay? Come on in. Welcome, everybody. Hit the like button, share the video. And I think, unfortunately, because I really did not want Angie to be this way, but I think that Angela falls in that category. I think there's some shit she don't like about Shamia, mostly that she's a beautiful woman, who knows it, who owns it, who doesn't mind walking in front of men, even though she's married, and shaking her ass and all the stuff that we've been seeing her do, even though Shamia's like, I'm a married woman. You're a married woman who sometimes, handle yourself like a single lady. Now, I'm not saying that's bad for anybody because, like I said, a lot of people do that. But sometimes women in particular, they get very judgy about other women who do stuff like that. You're in a business meeting like the one Shamia had earlier in the season for that alcohol that she had, and she invited that financial advisor over, right? And she got up and started saying, oh, it's going to be in the shape of my ass and whatever the liquor's called, but it's supposed to have her body type. And she turned around and started bopping it and shit. And I remember thinking, well, that's not how you handle yourself in a business meeting. I think that, you know what I'm saying? And I'm saying this as a person who's just watching this shit on TV. If I saw it in person, I wouldn't give Shamia any heat because that's Shamia's business. That's Shamia's business and that's Gerald's business. But I think for Angela, who knows that her husband is a part of, the basketball world, and that Shamia hangs around in the basketball world, I don't think she likes that. I think that's the problem. A lot of people have been giving Portia the business. Oh, she's just on Portia. She's being a blah, blah, blah. No. This doesn't have anything to do with Portia. Not a thing. Now, when Portia did her bullshit and she was like, that was a back and forth between her and Angela, right? Why you fucking that woman's husband? And she said, you keep it up, I'm gonna fuck Charles, right? When that happened, Angela came right down them steps. She heard that shit from that top floor room. She came right down them steps in them house shoes and that damn bonnet and said, what's up, Portia? And Portia ran up out of there. Not that Portia can't handle herself, okay? Because I do like Portia, not that she can't handle herself, but it was just a situation where she was like, I do not want to get into it in my first season back. about this woman's husband when I really don't even like him like that for real. I don't give two shits about Charles, right? I was saying something smart, everybody laughed, and she ran up out of there, and then she apologized to both Angela and Charles separately off the show. I don't even want this to be some show shit. Okay, I'll do it on the show, but I also want y'all to know that's not where I'm at. I got mad, frustrated, I said it. Okay, and then Charles and Angela ended up honoring Portia for the Hosea Williams House, the charity that Portia's family handles, and they ended up honoring her at one of their charity events. So I said they had gotten over their hump, but Angela, okay, bitch, if we got beef, I'm gonna have beef with you forever. The fact that Shamia had went around and said, I've known Charles for a very long time, right? Y'all remember that last season? I've known Charles for a very long time. And for as long as I've known Charles, I had no idea he was married. That's not what a married woman wants to hear when you know there's an attractive woman dropping it like it's hot every 5 seconds in front of everybody. In front of everybody. She didn't want to hear that shit. Also, Miss Shamia running around telling people that man doesn't love her. Even though she's playing a wounded victim right now, she did tell people that Charles didn't love Angela. There was a lot of shit that just Shamia and Angela were into. And when Angela was listening to it, she pretended like it didn't bother her. But now it has all exploded, okay? Come on in, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I could never be on anyone's side who comes for another woman's marriage with lies. Did you hear the lies that Shamia told? Because she started it. This is what you don't do. This is exactly the problem. Everybody only listens to the side that explodes. But before that happened, Shamia was sharing everything she knew about Charles because she's a part of the basketball world. And I told y'all last season when they were on the reunion, I said, Shamia went too far. She keeps acting like she's very familiar with Charles. And then she sat on that reunion stage. And when Charles came out and sat behind Angela, Andy Cohen said, hey, Shamia, you know Charles, right? And she was like, oh, yeah, like her and Charles went way back. And what did Charles say? We don't know each other. He cut her off so fast that her whole face broke. It took her a minute to like gather herself because she kind of went into herself like, ooh. He said, I don't know you and you don't know me. And then he checked Phaedra and said the same shit. We ain't never met. You might have known of me, but I've never met you. And that's because of some shit that Angela and Charles had got into right before that damn reunion, right? Don't let these bitches get on this stage and act like they know you. They shouldn't be that familiar with you. These women are telling me that they didn't even know you were married. All of that bothered her. All of it. You said you thought, no, go back and look at it. Go back and look at it. He checked the hell out of Shamia. And I remember how hurt, like she kind of caved in and she just looked like, oh my God. Oh my God. That's what happened. People, I'm so happy that y'all have me. There's been so many people. I listened to Carlos King and his crew yesterday, and you guys are kissing Portia's ass. That didn't happen. That didn't happen like that. All of those girls have tried to be a mediator. Everybody on Portia's team, I should say that, especially Cynthia. Cynthia had went and talked to Shamia, I think twice separately to say, girl, I don't want to get in your business with you and Portia, but is there a way to mend things? She's been trying to help Shamia. She was also the mediator or trying to fix things between Portia and Kelly. Is it Kelly? No, Portia and K. Michelle. Portia and K. Michelle, there was a whole lot of people who on Portia's side. Now they're all screaming, well, you're trying to kiss Portia's ass. And that's not what's going on. If you watch this episode, and I implore you to go back and watch it if you didn't, it is Shamia who is getting butthurt when like Pinky and Portia was like, oh, did you help? Did you have that conversation we talked about? Shamia looks over at Pinky like, bitch, I know. You're a part of this clique, not that one. She is the one who wants the clicks. It is Shamia who wants the click. And look, K Michelle even called it out. Bitch, you're not a prize. Like, I like being your friend and everything, but Shamia acts like being her friend is a prize. That's what she said, okay? Welcome everyone to the chat. I appreciate y'all. Welcome Miss Lady D Key. She is the moderator, child, for this particular episode of RHOA in this late night chat. Phaedra and Shamia, I will give $100 if I am lying. Okay, it was Shamia and Phaedra. Phaedra absolutely said, "I know Charles," and he said, "No, you don't." But Andy Cohen asked Shamia if she knew Charles because he knows she does whatever for the Hawks or whatever, and he said, "No, we do not know each other." He checked her before words were able to come. She was, "Oh, I know Charles." She was doing that all last season. And that's why she got checked. And I said, y'all are too familiar with this woman's husband. Y'all have been dogging her all season. You're too familiar with her husband. She don't like it. And that is the problem. It is not a Portia Williams problem. It is a Shamia. Even this season at that basketball charity event, when Charles was in confessional, like, I don't know what it is between Angela and Shamia, but it's something. Remember that? And Shamia looked at him like, are you out of your fucking mind? Because he's like, I don't care. I don't care. You're not putting that on me, okay? So yes, I promise y'all, that is what it is. Angela does not like how Shamia carries herself. She's heard some things about Shamia and she sees some things and that she just don't like it. And listen, she represents a lot of women. I can't put a percentage on it, but I do know that there's some women who just don't like women off site, women who carry themselves a certain way. They're too confident. They know they got men's nose wide open. And they also know that their husbands might be looking sometimes. They don't like that shit. And they'll decide not to like you immediately. And that is the energy that Angela is giving. Now, I know she said wait till the end of the season to see more. But we'll have to see, okay? Hold on one second, because I want to get y'all that receipt I was telling you about. Welcome, everybody. Hit the like button, share the video, okay? We got this late night chat for RHOA Season 17, Episode 13. Ciao. Hold on, I'm grabbing this receipt real quick. And that's unfortunate because Angela got called out by a woman named Ashley. Who is her neighbor of all things. Okay, I put it up on the screen for you guys to read. But Ashley saw the episode and said, imagine calling me to fish for information about another woman, getting absolutely nothing but a neutral response, then turning around and making my husband the centerpiece of a story you created in your own head. Let's be serious. Out of everything in this world, why would I ever give someone permission to put my husband in the middle of an allegation like that? That doesn't even make sense. I'm just glad that Shamia brought it to light before she had a chance to fully run with that made up narrative. And y'all know that they already filmed the reunion, right? So they already filmed the reunion and I can't wait to see it. But it seemed like only the OGs were like, baby, this is the reunion of all reunions. All of the new girls, they were shooketh. Okay, they didn't give the same type of energy. You said Ashley was messy. Yeah, it's very much given called in a favor, right? That's what I said too. I said, okay, Ashley, nobody asked for your 2 cents, child. You could have dropped this a long time ago, but you're dropping it after the reunion, which leads me to believe some other shit went down, right? But it doesn't matter. Anyway, I do want to share with y'all this new product that I'm using. It is called Collagen Jelly by Medicube. Y'all know I always tell y'all I don't share anything that I'm not using myself, and this is it right here, okay? You put it on in the evening before you go to sleep, and in the morning when I tell you that your face is looking like 5-10 years younger, I also put it just a little bit, not the same amount that I use before I go to bed, but for the last couple of days, I've been putting a little bit on my skin right before I prep myself for makeup. And it gives me a glow, baby. I had this on since, I want to say 10 a.m. this morning. I have not washed my face or changed my makeup, and my face still has a glow on it. Okay, so just an FYI, it kind of works like a primer and gives you a nice little glow on your face. You said you love Medicube. Oh, you got the pebbles. Okay. I'm learning these things, but this one is a keeper for me. So this is something new that I'm adding to my regimen. If you're interested in buying, there is a link that's either going to pop up on your screen, your cell phone screen. It'll show up as an icon or maybe even this picture, right? You can click it. It'll take you right over to where to buy. Or there's a link right under the menu bar if you're on your computer. Click that and it'll give me the credit. So I appreciate you guys if you're interested. Okay. Anywho, let's get into the rest of this story. I already shared too much. So listen, it opens with the girls headed to the airport, y'all. They are doing a cast trip in Scotland. So it looks like, RHOA then put a little money on it. Let me put my other picture back up. RHOA then put a little money into it. It's Phaedra's birthday. Phaedra and Portia had already gone to Scotland. Okay, so this is really, Bravo's way of promoting traders as well, getting everybody involved in that. But put your vote in that poll right above the chat. It's Phaedra's birthday. Portia and Phaedra were on Traders, and so they've both been to Scotland, but no one else on the cast has. So this is a chance for the girls to all come out, hang out together, okay? Nobody's being dogged out. Y'all know sometimes on these girls' trips and other shows, sometimes people don't want one person to go or whatever the case may be. Portia's not being a hater. Phaedra's not being a hater. Even though Portia wasn't invited to the birthday party, she's not giving any bad energy, baby. You invited to this group. It's a cast trip. I don't care. We all gonna have a good time, right? Pinky actually says in her confessional that the friend group is bankrupt, okay? And she said that the girls are so divided, she's hoping that this is the Hail Mary that they all need to, get back on track. I don't think they were ever on track, but she's saying right now they're more divided than ever, right? And like I said just a little bit ago, everyone is saying it's because of Portia, but we all know that for whatever reason, now we got K. Michelle who's out here, even though she's trying to seem like she's trying to keep things okay with Shamia, she's also seeing Shamia, girl, I don't need your friendship like that. You know what I'm saying? I love to be your friend if you want to be my friend, but don't be talking to me like I'm the ugly girl that you have to share your lunch with. You know what I mean? Bitch, I'm bringing something to the table too. Let's just point that out, okay? I'm just saying. All right. Anyway, after all of that, they arrive at the castle. It's a huge castle, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And they are greeted by a guy named Corgi, who is a Black Scot. I guess he has a social media presence over there on TikTok. And there's a couple of people who recognize him or know him well. They all seem smitten by him, saying that, he would look good or whatever. Pinky said that he was so fine. but she doesn't want anybody to tell her husband she said it. Whereas Shamia said she knows exactly what Corgi is working with under that kilt. Okay, y'all know they wear those little dresses with the plaid. For whatever reason, Shamia, the married woman, this is what I was talking about a little earlier. Shamia said, I know what he working with under there. I know what he working with under there. And she left it at that because that's just how she talks. That is her personality. That is what she does. If she was doing that with Portia, nobody would blink an eye. But now, you know what I'm saying? She's out there hanging by herself. By herself. Hit the like button and share the video, you guys. But she says she knows what he's working with, and she follows him over there on the TikTok. Now, I was looking through them comments. I barely saw anybody say, Shamia, stop disrespecting Gerald. Okay, nobody said that shit. But anyway, they asked K Michelle if Corgi reminds her of Idris Elba. And she said, hell no, nah, ain't nothing about them two alike except they're both African American. And the producer had to remind her, child, he's Scottish. He's Scottish. What is wrong with you? Anyway, poor Kay. Let's move on. All right, so now they do a little bit of a tour with the castle, and Phaedra and Portia break off from the rest of the group and look over the rest of the house, right? Get all the names and stuff on everybody's rooms, while the rest of the ladies go to the dining room to have lunch and get something to drink. Y'all know that's a long flight over, right? And this is where shit gets crunk, okay? So while they are there at the table, at the dining table, Pinky announces that Shamia has secured the lead role in her online series. Y'all know she's doing a little documentary about herself, and she has Shamia, I guess, working in one of these lead roles. Okay. And everybody at the table is like, cheers, girl. They all got their glasses up high and high-fiving, and oh my God, I'm so proud of you. Everybody except Angela Oakley. Angela is sitting there like, I mean, sourpussed out. Sourpussed out. And even with that, I was like, Angela, my God, girl, you got to get your feelings together. You can't let all that shit show. There's a camera on every corner of this room waiting for everybody's reaction. She is the only person who did not pick up her glass and cheers or say congratulations. When she gathers herself because she realized she's looking like a damn hater, okay? And I'm not even mad at Angela. Let me just say that. I will say that I wish she handled herself better, but I still like Angela Oakley. But there's no denying that she can't stand Shamia. There's no denying that, okay? But anyway, when she realizes that she is out here looking like, you know, she got that hater spirit on her, she finally says something like, oh, Pinky, why don't you put us all in? Why can't we all have, what did she say, some sort of cameo appearance? And Pinky, who I know caught Angela, frowned up, right? Pinky actually starts laughing like, bitch, okay, you better get it together. Because y'all, there's only so many of y'all at this table. Even Drew Sidora picked up her glass and said, congratulations, girl. So you were the only one not doing shit. Anyway, Pinky caught it. She laughs at her. In her confessional, she's like, baby, we got casting already done and taken care of. Ain't no room for nobody else, okay? So there was that. But I just want y'all to know that she's just going out bad. Her slip is showing, okay? Next up, we have Miss Kelly, who tells the group that she is forever grateful. She is forever grateful for Phaedra, okay? She said that, Phaedra has stepped in and offered free legal counsel for her. Again, just want to point out that if Portia's group, if her friends was so tight with her that they didn't fuck with the other side, Phaedra would have never offered that girl free legal services, right? She would have been loyal to Portia and not done anything for her. So the narrative that's going around there is wrong. But now we have Kelly, who softened up, who was in the beginning saying frickin' frack and frack and frick and oh, the two hoes. And I could say more about Phaedra. That one. Now she can't stop singing Phaedra's praises. Oh, my husband, you know what I'm saying? My ex-husband, my bad. My ex-husband is out here basically trying to get me fired and with my life. My kids are very much a part of my storyline. Now he done made it so that I can't film with my children. Okay. All the stuff that people do when they're at war with each other, try to, kill their jobs, make them completely destitute, make them start from scratch. All the stuff that the only way I can even equate this is to the Klan, the way they used to ride into black towns that were real affluent back in the day and burn them down to the ground and make people who had their whole life set up in their farms or whatever the case may be, banks, whatever it was. Now you got to start from scratch all over again, try to find a way to migrate to the next town. It's that type of shit. It is somebody who has a black, dark, cold soul. Okay. I mean, just everything about them nasty, 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 nasty. And I just pray to God that I never meet anybody like that, because those type of people are garbage. But this man know that his kids need to eat. He knows that. He knows that that woman is there and he's not even trying to pay her child support for it. I think he's been put in jail 3 times, 2 or 3 times, something like that. Had to spend over 60, 90 days in jail until he could come up with the child support money. So he's doing all kinds of nasty stuff to her. And Phaedra said, girl, I know you're in a hard spot, because she also shares that she had a protective order put against her by one of her neighbors, which means that she could only be within so many feet of her, which means that the apartment complex probably kicked her ass out, even though she's trying to make it seem like, I just moved. No, you didn't. Not with the you didn't move without another place to stay, girl. That's a lie. You got kicked out of that apartment. Somebody said, you know what? You're too much work. We don't want this person to be, afraid or nervous, and they did not want any liability in case the two of y'all start fighting. So you got kicked out of that building. And just so y'all know, if you're not aware, because I used to work for the housing authority, some shit like that, you have to go through all kinds of background checks to get an apartment. And having a restraining order on you could definitely put your ass in neighborhoods you don't want to be in, okay? You are either paying out the wazoo to get a place to stay because somebody is trying to skip a program, because everything is going into a computer system. So it is worse than a credit check for a loan. Like, people want all kinds of references. You need first, second, third month's rent. There's a whole lot of shit you got to do just to secure a place to stay with your children. And this is the type of bullshit that Kelly's dealing with. So she's sitting at the table being vulnerable, letting the ladies know what's already been filmed, right? And everybody's kind of sitting there like, Kelly, I'm so sorry. I know this is hard for you. Even Drew Sidora, baby, this is my worst nightmare, because she knows what's going on with her and Ralph, right? She was in a townhouse. I don't know. She had a neighbor. Wherever she was, she had a neighbor. So that's an apartment to me. Apartment, townhouse, same thing. So now she is sharing her business. Then we have Miss Cynthia Bailey say to her, listen, girl, we have all been there. I've been reading some of the shit that's going on with you and your ex. And I just want you to know that if you need to lean on us, okay, we are the RHO Collective. If you need to lean on us, because we've all been through some of this shit, please do it. Do not put yourself in a situation where you can't take care of yourself and your children, right? So Kelly says, I appreciate that, girl. Thank you so much. It's really nice to hear, because I'm going to tell you something. This group, I mean, I'm afraid to be vulnerable with y'all, because it feels like when something's really going on that's tough in your life, if you tell it to somebody, it gets used against you later, right? And she could barely finish the sentence before Angela, who is just percolating clearly, because I don't even know if Angela needed to say anything here, but Angela, when she is around Shamia, it just all comes out. All of her insecurities start spilling out of her. And it's unfortunate. I don't know what's going on. Come on in. So anyway, so Angela goes, girl, I'm the only one at this table who doesn't have support, right? I don't have any support. I don't have nothing. I have it worse than everybody. And now everybody's looking at her like, where is this coming from? Because I don't think people are used to seeing Angela this vulnerable. And it could be, I don't want to take this away from her. It could be that she just lost her mama and everything feels really, prickly sensitive, because that's what happens when you lose somebody, especially your mom or your dad, children, whatever it is. You start looking at everybody different, and now she's just spilling it. So I'm going to give her that. I just thought about that because people really were looking at her like, girl, what's going on, right? But I think Angela lost her mother, and I think that everything is just, it's just sitting on her sleeve, like it's everywhere, right? Anyway, Angela basically says that she hasn't had anybody to stand in her corner, to be her friend, to nothing. And that's when she's looking at Shamia while she's saying this. And Shamia is like, what the fuck you looking at me for? I wish Shamia wouldn't have said anything, but she's like, they're like, sisters who can't stand each other. Why are you looking at me? And she was just like, I'm just saying, I don't have anybody. Shamia reminds her, girl, you got Drew. Okay. You and Drew have been tag teaming everybody in the camp of RHOA. So I don't know why you're acting like that. And then Kelly basically says, Angela, I sure do hate you feel that way, because if you remember last year when them boys was at my Sonoma event, and they made that comment that Charles was cheating on you, and what else? I think they said that Charles didn't love her, that he has a girlfriend. Charles has a girlfriend, all that shit. She said, I kicked them out, right? She said, I kicked them out. And you should have saw that as some sort of, I had your back, or whatever the case may be. But Angela said, no, I didn't see it that way. Mainly because you were on the after show with Shamia telling her that you thought I set that whole thing up. Like I set it up for my husband to be embarrassed, for me to be embarrassed. So no, I didn't even see it that way. Whatever goodwill you thought you was throwing my way, bitch, you snatched the rug from up under me, okay? So she tells her that. Anyway, I'm so sorry. Kelly ends up, standing on business. Kelly was like, well, it was weird that they would have it was weird that those two strangers would just show up at my event when I didn't know them from Adam to make that announcement about you, child. So I did think you said it. At the end of the day, you right, shit. Maybe it wasn't as sincere as I thought it was, okay? What's up, everyone? Hit the like button, share the video, okay? So anyway, this is letting us know right up front that Angela is still hurt. She is still hurt. It's not the comment that Portia made at the pool saying, I'll F Charles. What she's hurt about is she doesn't think she got the support she wanted from the rest of the cast, because everybody kept saying the shit was so weird. Like, it's weird that Phaedra would set you up. Nobody was giving her, I guess, the empathy that she was looking for, right? And so Angela's pissed. Anyway, y'all know that shit went on for a long time. Angela and them boys went on for a long time, to the point of where Angela had to put, I think, a cease and desist on them or something like that. She did something to try to shut them up. They had went over to, I think, Michelle A.T. Alien's page. They were dropping stuff on TikTok. They had their own podcast. There was a whole lot of stuff that was going on where they were dropping details about Charles having a girlfriend, that he, drives around on the east side, and all kinds of stuff. So all of that stuff is still sitting with her, right? What's up, Delicious? You said, I'm not on either side. You're not on either side. If you guys would like to become a member, you can by hitting the link at the top of the chat. But Angela is still butthurt. Anyway, now I already told y'all that on the reunion, Charles shuts down both Phaedra and Shamia, I don't know you. I don't know you. You don't get too familiar with me, baby. Okay? Because him and Angela have been into it, but they kept it cute. They were a united front on the reunion. But he was going after the ladies, okay? Anyway, Shamia owns Shamia ends up owning at the dinner table because now again Angela's like, didn't you say you didn't know me, that you didn't know who I was? And Shamia said, I didn't know who you were. Okay. What's up, Vanessa? Vanessa from Reality T Recap is over here hanging out. Thank you, girl. Yes, ma'am. Late night, late night. Talk to me about Shamia. We got to chit chat about this, okay? But Shamia said, baby, you ain't about to make me say something that I don't feel, okay? I am. You know I play. You know I work for the Hawks, right? You know it. And I didn't know anything about you. Never heard your fucking name in any of the circles that I'm in. I did not know you. I did know your husband though. So she doubles down on that. I knew Charles. I never heard about you. And that is what's making her sensitive. Okay. That's what's making her sensitive. That's what's making her want to beat Shamia's ass for the most part. And then Shamia's making all these comments about her physical appearance. Bitch, you got big feet. Okay, you had a ponytail that was this size when you. That's Shamia's. That's how she fights back. Shamia, Shamia is a very beautiful woman, but she also defends herself by calling other women ugly. Right, bitch, your nose, your whatever. She will tear your whole entire face up. And that's what she's doing. So she's over there having these little moments, and she knows she's getting under Angela's skin, but people aren't paying attention to Shamia and how she fights and what she's doing. She knows what she's doing. She's just really good at pretending to be extra hurt. And I'm gonna stand on that. When Shamia wants people to shut up and stop, she'll be like, okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'll take accountability. I apologize. She does this thing where she does this real big doe-eyed, looking down but up kind of thing. And she turns in on herself. And it's really weird to watch because it's also not who she really is. She only does it. And I'll say this too. She says that so much, it's routine for her. That's how you know she doesn't mean it. She says it the exact same way every time. I'll take accountability. I apologize. That's what you need to hear, kind of thing. Girl, you're not even listening to what they're saying for real. You're just saying it because you want it to go away. But I will say what I want, when I want, whenever I want. Okay? That's really what she does. You said you can't believe Angela got me siding with me. girl, okay? Very performative. That's right. That's right. Anyway, Shamia does that whole thing like, bitch, I don't care. Okay. I really don't. And she lets her know, like I said, she said, you know everything about me. This is where Shamia gets her. She says, bitch, I don't know nothing about you. I didn't know you then. I don't know you now. You're not that interesting to me. But you know everything about me because people in my organization over there at the NBA, and you know that Charles might have friends over there, but they've told me, at least two people have come to me and said, you've been investigating me, that you're looking for information about me, bitch. Okay. And I wish you would stop. I wish you would stop. Oh my God. Anyway, after all that, Angela starts laughing, right? This is where her and Drew, her sidekick, Drew, the sidekick, ends up turning on, right? Because look, Angela does one of these and starts laughing and shit. Shamia, why would I investigate you? And then she looks over at Drew, and Drew starts laughing. Both of them start laughing together. Now, laughing at Shamia does bother her. She pays attention to people's facial expressions, and she does not like to be laughed at. But baby, when they started laughing, that's when Shamia got super sensitive. Anyway, doesn't matter. Portia and Phaedra ends up hearing them acting a fool down there, right? Hit the like button, everyone. Portia and Phaedra end up hearing them acting a fool. So they go running down the steps like, bitch, we just got here. It ain't even been 20 minutes and y'all about to get us kicked up out this house, right? So they go running downstairs and they're asking what's going on. We could hear y'all all the way up there. We could hear y'all, right? And Shamea ends up telling them, she says, bitch, I will never respect Angela Oakley. I will never respect her. And then she lets them know she's out here looking for dirt on me so that she can put it on the show, I guess. And that's not some shit I play with, right? Now, Phaedra, who's a lawyer, just cuts right to it. And she said, well, is she going to find any dirt on you, heifer? Because look, there's no reason for you to be getting bent up out of shape unless she's going to find some shit, right? Because that's what it is. Even Portia at one point said, baby, you too defensive. You know what I'm saying? Play your cards right, girl. You ain't got to make everything that comes out of Angela Oakley's mouth a cut. Just cool, calm down. And a lot of y'all like that because y'all think that's her being sensitive, but it's not. It's her feeling like she got something to hide. Maybe she does. I don't know. But a bitch that's sure of themselves, that got as much money as Shamea has, that has as much security as Shamea should have, you'll be a lot calmer. You know what I'm saying? There's a way you need to handle yourself. And she does it later at the end because she had to think about it a little bit. She felt a little more secure, but not during this scene. This scene, she's letting Angela get her goat when she doesn't have to, right? So anyway, after that, when Phaedra said, bitch, do you have some dirt out there that she can get on you? Shamea goes, no. She didn't even answer that right. Sometimes I don't like the way Shamea answers questions. She puts too many question marks behind some of the shit she says. Just like, I've never kissed a girl. No. Shamea, you got to practice your faces, girl. You're an actress, for Pete's sake. Anyway, in confessional, Angela said, I've seen Shamea in the company of my neighbor, George. Okay. And she said, I had to ask George if it was okay to bring up Shamea's name, which was a weird way to word it. So when I was listening to it, I said, why would you ask him if it's okay to bring up Shamea's name on a show you work on? Unless what you're really saying is it okay to bring up Shamea's name because I don't want to get you in trouble with your wife? That's what I immediately thought. Because when she said it, I was like, girl. And you were the one who said, what, last episode or the week before, you made that comment when production said, who told you that Shamea is sleeping with the Hawks, right? With players. And you went, no. Someone told me, it's a rumor, but I believe them. So you're making it seem like this is all a part of the circle, like you know people, right? So you did do that, girl. Okay, anyway. When they get back to the table, when they're showing everything at the table, Phaedra and Portia are sitting there looking like a couple of owls, child. Like a couple of owls. All they were doing was like, oh, like, you know what I'm saying? Just big-eyed to the point of where, again, Shamea, who is uncomfortable and she's reading everybody's face and not knowing, you can read the faces, bitch, but sometimes you don't say a whole lot. Just like when people were calling Portia Horsha, okay, nobody said, girl, I'm reading your face. Sometimes you got to let that shit go. But she's reading faces and she's calling everybody out on it. In particular, Portia, don't do that. Don't make that face. Don't do this. And Portia's like, what? Baby, this ain't even I don't have a dog in this fight. I don't give a shit. But Portia's trying, I've been asked, me and Phaedra were upstairs minding our business. And production said, get on down there and be a part of the show. So I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, bitch. Please, girl. I'm not going to sit at this table while all this action is going on and not work for the check that I'm getting. But anyway, Miss Angela Oakley says it's George. And now Phaedra's like, George? because Phaedra knows who George is, and they show this picture of George, which, by the way, Miss Ashley, you 1000% gave permission for George to be seen on that show, because they don't just pull pictures of randoms. They need your permission. They probably paid you a fee, but you get this old man with a green beard, okay, like he dyed his shit green, and she's sitting there, and Phaedra's like, you know how Phaedra makes those faces where her her lip is curled up like, George? And she goes, everybody knows George. Now, when Angela is saying George, Portia, who's sitting right beside her, goes, Joyce. Okay, so the name is Joyce? And she went, no, George. So now Portia's like, is he married? And Angela goes, yeah. And now Portia goes, oh. Because now she's like, what the, you know what I'm saying? Everybody else was already in on the fact that Angela was saying she was fucking somebody else. But now Portia's being caught up. Anyway, Shamia doesn't like that either. Don't do that, Portia. And Portia's like, girl, I don't know what you want from me. This is where I was told to sit. This is where I was told to sit. I got to participate. Okay. Anyway, and she's not even giving you that much, Shamia. Not more than all the people on your side of the table. Kelly, K. Michelle, Pinky, they've given way more to the other ladies. But anyway, Shamia tells them to stop, control your face, control your eye movement, whatever. I don't know if she feels like somebody at home or maybe other family members is going to feel away, but she needs to stand in it. She asked to be on this fucking show. She asked to be a part of it. Anyway, Shamia ends up basically, after she cussing everybody out, it's Kelly, my bad. Kelly ends up asking Angela after Shamia tells everybody else, don't do that. Stop, stop. Kelly goes, girl, did you tell his wife? Did you talk to his wife about Shamia? Did you talk to George's wife about Shamia? And Angela said, no. But I asked her, if I say something, will it offend her? So this is Angela trying to play chess, trying to make people think that she got dirt on Shamia and that she asked both the wife, Ashley, and George. And I'm not so sure that she didn't, because like I said, they had permission to show those text messages. They had permission, Ashley, to use your voice on the show. And they had permission to put up George's face. Phaedra said everybody in Atlanta knows George. He has a billboard on every corner. Cash for crash. Okay? So this is somebody that's supposed to be super popular. I don't know. Anyway, Shamia said, now, why would I be offended? This is the first time she actually calms down a little bit. When Angela said, I asked Ashley if she would be offended if I brought your name up, because I know some things. And Angela said, now, why would I be offended? Or excuse me, Shamia said, now, why would I be offended? That's when Angela tries to push another button. She tried to push another button. And she said, girl, don't make me hurt your feelings, okay? Don't make me do it. And Pinky said, bitch, go on ahead and hurt her feelings real quick. Please hurt her feelings real quick. God damn, she said, say what's on your mind. Stop pushing out this narrative and not giving us a story. We need to hear everything. And I said, baby, I am in love with Pinky right now, because all them girls are sitting at the table trying their damnedest not to offend Shamia. And Pinky said, fuck that. At least 3 times she went against the grain, maybe 4 in this episode. And she knew that Shamia didn't want her to do that. But she definitely said it. Go on ahead and hurt that bitch's feelings real quick. Okay, God damn it. Please stop beating around the bush and get it out. And that's when Angela said, girl, did you fuck George? Did you F George? I want to know. Okay. Oh, Now, when she says that, everybody's eyes, now she can't even control everybody's eyes movements because literally, K. Michelle was like, bitch. Cynthia Bailey's over there clutching her pearls, like, oh my God. I think Pinky was kind of laughing, like, we knew this was going to we knew this was going to happen. Girl, you got to get yourself together, right? So everybody's giving Angela a look, and Angela doesn't say anything, child. At this point, Angela's just, and I should say this though, for the most part, everybody was disgusted. Everybody was disgusted, including Portia. Portia and Phaedra were like, why would you do that? You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. And like I said, for the audience, it could be easy for people to believe that Shamea might be out there a little bit because of how free she is with her parts, right? I think she was just in a birthday video with Candy. They went to was it Bali? I think they went to Bali, and she appeared to be the only person on the boat with a thong bikini on, child, and she was popping and locking and dropping on the steps, off the steps, on the, you know what I'm saying? Just on the boat, just anywhere she could. She was letting everybody know, baby, I'm a baddie. I am, and you're just going to have to be okay with that. It is what it is, okay? Anyway, Shamea says, that's not fucking true. I didn't do anything like that. And then she went on to do what she does best. Fuck Angela. She's some here worried about me and who I'm fucking. What she needs to be worried about is finding a pair of pants that goes all the way down inside them big ass size 11 boots. Okay. So she starts showing pictures. She took a picture of Angela's feet when they were at that damn basketball game. I'm assuming when they were over there at that basketball game, she took a picture, child, and she took that. She got as petty as shit. She ended up opening up that phone and started showing it. And Kelly was dying laughing. And now you have Portia across the table. Portia and who else was it? Drew. Portia and Drew are sitting up there. Portia goes, "What is she doing?" And she says she's making fun of Angela's feet. She's making fun of Angela's feet, right? And Portia said, Shamea, you're way too defensive. You gotta calm down. You gotta calm down because Portia is a damn veteran on this show. Y'all remember what happened when Portia was with Bolo and how she was handling herself all the way down to the reunion when Marlo was trying to get Portia up out of her skin, and she stood up on him and said, bitch, y'all don't bother me. You wish you could be me. Like, calm down. Get your bearings, girl. You're making yourself look guilty even if you're not. True. Okay. I agree with Portia on that. Anyway, Shamea says that at the end of the day, Angela Oakley has had it out for me since Nashville, since the beginning, talking about I'm creating all kinds of division in this group. Okay. Now, Cynthia chimes in and she said, well, she ain't the only one who felt that way. Pretty much everybody up to this point, Shamea, has had something to say about you and how you are creating some divide in the group. And I want to say this about Cynthia, because everybody was giving her shit. Y'all know when the Dallas trip happened, Shamea has a way of, and she explained it, you and your side of the table, anytime there is a problem, when you're feeling good, they're all good. But when you feel bad, all of those hoes come for anybody they believe got you upset. That's just been the routine. That's been what's going to happen every time we do something. When did she lie? That was not a lie. They did it when they were in Dallas. None of them came to dinner. Shamea, who else? I think Pinky was the only one who came to dinner, and Pinky handed Cynthia her ass because that damn pool house was dirty, right? Did you do that on purpose? And why would you put them in a dirty room? And she was going on, and Cynthia said, I just came from down there and talked to them, and they didn't even have a pinch of the heat that you're giving me. So I don't know what's going on or where this is even coming from. They are grown-ass women with kids. Why would you do this? Anyway, Pinky's the first to say, I disagree with that. And then everybody else is like, I wouldn't do that. And I think Kelly said some shit like, You need to learn how to be a friend, bitch, because that's what friends do, right? So everybody's attacking Cynthia in their confessional. In their confessional, but Cynthia did not lie from the very beginning of this season. Anytime Shamia, and this is her superpower, that's what I'm going to say. Everybody has one. This happens to be Shamia's superpower. When Shamia gets upset or hurt, she has these sidebar conversations with people where she basically pours out her feelings about how she's having this hard time. I can't get pregnant. I only got one embryo left. Gerald's giving me the blues. He doesn't want me to do movies anymore. Whatever these things are, she'll just go on and on and on about them. And then everybody feels like they got to go fight her fight. And I do mean everybody. Not one person has gotten in any of those ladies' faces to defend Portia. Not once. The only time was when Cynthia said to, and this wasn't even for Portia, was when Cynthia said to Shamia, girl, could you please cut it out with the big feet shit? Because Shamia has a way of going on and on, right? So she said, girl, just cut it out for one night. And she said, hell no, nah, never. Anytime, any place, whenever I feel like talking about that bitch, I will. Cynthia threw up her hands and said, this is your house. I'm in your house. So what do I look like fighting you about it? We'll leave it there. That's fine. That was the only person that Cynthia came to say, hey, girl, can you please? And she said, fine, I'll let you do it. Don't matter. Anyway, I said all that to say, like I said, Cynthia has been a peacemaker with pretty much everybody in the damn group. Okay. K. Michelle said in her confessional that Shamia couldn't lead her anywhere except to the mall. Okay, that's it. F Shamia. No, she didn't say that. Actually, what she said was people need to stop giving Shamia grief because that girl got so much going on. And again, we, the audience, don't know what she's talking about, but clearly she gives everybody a sob story. But she said Shamia got too much going on. And who knows what's going to become of Shamia if Gerald kicks her out of that house. Shade. Because now it feels like everybody on Shamia's side kind of sees a little bit more. And they're like, well, can she fight her own battles or can't she? Okay. The only person who didn't have shit bad to say is Kelly. Everybody else said that that girl needs to get it together. Anyway, now we have everybody retiring to their rooms. Okay. After this little back and forth, everybody gets ready to go to their rooms. And Portia said, y'all can take a nap, whatever the case may be, but we're about to go to dinner. We got this 8-course dinner that's going down in a few hours. Take a nap, get yourselves dressed, relax. Hopefully we can all reset and put this shit to rest, right? But as soon as they get upstairs, Shamia is texting Ashley. Shamia starts the text thread, even though Bravo did not show us the beginning of the text thread, right? And what we do see is Ashley respond, basically saying that Angela is a liar, that she had never thought Shamia and George slept together. What else did she say? She also told Shamia that Angela is a weirdo and that she has motives to tear her down. You need to watch your damn back because that girl's trying to tear you down, child, okay? But she said, I don't appreciate her bringing that shit up at the table. She got some damn nerve, right? And while she's doing all of that, and they were whispering, by the way, with the door open, but they were whispering, you see Angela pop her head into Shamia's door because, girl, why didn't you just close the door and mind your business? She popped her head in and she said, are you calling me a bitch? And she said, I am. And you need to get your ass out of my room. Get the fuck out now before I call him. Anyway, that girl started screaming, call him. Angela's screaming, call George, call Angela, call. Her name is, Ashley. Call George, call Ashley, call whoever. Shamia. Shamia starts laughing a little bit. Shamia stood up. She said, get the fuck out. She closes the door on Angela's face. Angela went walking down the hallway, completely bothered. Okay? You gonna say something, say it to my face. Okay, peekaboo, I see you. Like she is just a child on the playground. Just a child on the playground, okay? Anyway, Shamia calls, Angela calls Shamia a basic bitch. They are fussing each other out, calling each other names, sash, squash, shahoa, you name it. These ladies are acting a plumb fool. And now Phaedra and Portia, who are downstairs, they run their asses back upstairs, okay? Now, I will say that Pinky and Kelly were getting their life. Pinky and Kelly were laughing something awful, talking about Bigfoot is at the door, child. You might want to open it. Bigfoot is at the door. Anyway, Portia and Phaedra goes running back upstairs, and they're like, what is going on? Y'all hoes was supposed to go to sleep, get yourself some rest, and here y'all are fighting again, right? Portia said, they went, you done took your wig off? Portia said, hell yeah. I was about to take it. I was about to take a nap. What is going on? Take a nap, take my bra off, and here y'all all are up here fussing and shit, right? Anyway, Shamia starts crying. Her superpower, I told y'all, because just 2 seconds ago, when Kelly and Pinky were making jokes, she was laughing. She was laughing with them, okay? Bigfoot this, Sasquatch this. Ooh, ooh, ooh. When Phaedra and Portia comes up, she starts crying again. This isn't funny anymore. You know, nobody remembers the truth. They only remember the lie, and I'm just tired of it. And Portia goes, okay, girl, I'm going to go down to her room right now and tell her to stop. I want Shamia to stand on business. You could have went out that door and say, listen, Angela, fuck you for everything you stand for, okay? Stop talking about me. Stop talking about my husband. I don't know what you're jealous of, but cut it out. She could have said that herself. And she was doing a good job of it. I'm not sure. I mean, when she got up and said and closed that door in her face and said, get the fuck out, she didn't look scared or nervous. I don't like to see her retreat like that because it feels performative to me. And that's exactly what she did. So anyway, after she cries to Portia, Portia went into protective mode. She did exactly what people are used to doing. So she go on down the hallway and she says to Angela, girl, cut it out. Now's the time to kill it. Okay? She said, I don't want you to do that no more. Kill it. And Angie is pissed. Hold on, let me make sure I got that right. Yeah, she said, kill it, leave it here. Don't do this no more. Leave that girl alone, kill it, leave it here. And now Phaedra and Portia are in Angela's room. And Angie says, I'm going to call Ashley, which was an attempt to save face for what I don't know, because she really didn't know what the outcome was going to be. But this lets you know that Angela is a little bit of a hustler. Like she manipulates things a little bit, and you can see it because she was dead ass wrong. And now you're about to call Ashley to involve her in your mess even further when you didn't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? But now she is standing there making the phone call, and Portia and Phaedra are both Portia and Phaedra, they know what it is. They know what she's doing. Anybody would know what she's doing. So now they're just like, girl, we're going to sit here and watch this bullshit. Angela puts her on speakerphone and she was like, hey, Ashley, baby, what's up? What did you hear? Okay. And Ashley was point blank serious. She said, listen, I heard that you said, I told you that Shamia fucked George. That is what I heard. She did not mince words and she said everything. Okay. And Angela said, no. I didn't say that. I did not say that. We didn't even speak anything about that. And when she said we didn't speak anything about that, you see Miss Portia's hand tap Phaedra's leg to let her know, bitch, what was happening downstairs if she didn't say that? So she lets her, this also lets the audience know that Portia did not set Angela up to say that. That is what I really wanted to point out, because a lot of people were saying this was Portia setting up or putting a battery in Angela's back. Portia taps Phaedra to say, girl, did we hear something different? Because didn't you say that you asked the two of them if you could bring it up? You definitely did. But Angela's trying to save her face, even though she doesn't. And she said, we didn't even talk about that. And if we did, I may have implied that she fucked George, but I didn't say you said it. Girl, don't do that. That makes you look stupid. That makes you look stupid. You definitely heavily implied both George and Ashley gave you permission to say it. You absolutely did. So anyway, I hate that she went out like this. Went out like a duck, okay? Anyway, when Angela hangs up the phone, Portia said, well, where did you hear that she fucked George? Where did you come up with that? And Angela said, I said it. It came from me. And Portia goes, like, she blinks her eyes rapidly, like for about 5 times, like, oh, oh, you said it. And she says, yes. And she goes, all right, I don't have time for this shit. Anyway, in confessional, Portia said, y'all ain't gonna make me give a reaction to that shit. I don't have anything to say. You're gonna have to turn me into AI to make me have a reaction to that. And then she said, and bitch, you better not. Anyway, producers put Angela's mouth over Portia's mouth to make her say, Shamia F. George. That shit was funny. Anyway, I like that they put a little lighthearted moment in there, because sometimes, the fans can get real upset, but they're making it lighthearted even in those heavy moments, okay? You said Shamia can't handle criticism. She really can't. But I'm telling y'all, pay attention to Shamia. Shamia will hold her own, and then she will go limp out of nowhere. So to me, when I'm watching it, there's 2 things. I'll get there. I don't want to talk ahead of myself. We'll get there. Anyway, now the ladies have gotten dressed, y'all. They're getting ready for this 8-course dinner. It's away from the house, and everybody gets into their cars, right? There's 3 cars. Portia, Phaedra, and Angela's in one. Shamia, Kay, and Pinky's in another. Cynthia, Drew, and Kelly is in another, okay? Now, in Portia and Phaedra's car, Angela is trying to act like she was happy that she was able to redeem herself because she doesn't want people to think she's a liar. And while she's saying that, both Portia and Phaedra are looking straight ahead. They don't say a word. They don't validate her like, girl, thank God, and blah, blah, blah. They're just like, child, you know that was some shit, right? They don't give her nothing. And then she goes on to also share, did I tell y'all what Shamia said to my daughter? And they're like, no, what? And she tells them, Shamia was out there saying, I like you, or you're nicer than your mother is, or something like that. And, the girls are like, girl, yes, I'm a little late. In the next car, Shamia, Kay, and Pinky's car, Shamia is telling everybody that she cannot believe what Angela's doing to her. She's trying to mess up her marriage and what she has going on with the Hawks. And they're just, validating her and letting her know that's some bullshit, girl. We are so sorry to hear that. In Cynthia's car, Cynthia, Drew, and Kelly, Cynthia said, listen, Angela is my girl, but I don't believe any of that shit. Okay. I don't believe that Shamia has slept with the Hawks, and I don't think she's with the other, she's doing a lot, right? Okay. So anyway, I hope everybody clocked this scene. Shamia, Kay, and Pinky get to the restaurant first before the other cars come in, right? And so they end up having a little chit chat. And I think Pinky brings up, are you too good or whatever? And Shamia says, let me say this to you. And this is why we know there's a click. Every time Shamia has talked in interviews, she's always made it seem like Portia And the girls that like Portia are against her. But you guys are a collective. And when she's in this particular setting, she tells Pinky, I don't like that you brought up what you thought was going on between me and Kay in front of those girls, especially since they were handing me my ass. And how dare you, basically, right? And Pinky's kind of looking real weird, but she takes it on the chin and she apologizes. Okay, I'm very sorry. I didn't realize. My bad. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, don't do that. If there's something that's going on, just talk about it with us, right? She's setting up the clique. Nobody else. She's setting up the clique. I think that Pinky had every right to bring that shit up. Everybody was talking about it. K. Michelle said, listen, I shared it with Pinky. I felt bad after you and I met. You had made the comment that none of your friends want you to trust me and don't want me to be your friend. And I left there crying. Now Shamia has a look on her face. Like I said, she knows how to handle herself when she wants to. But now she's looking at K. Michelle and she's giving her like an evil eye kind of look. And she tells her again, that scripted speech. Oh my God. I'll take accountability and I apologize if that's what happened. I'll never do it again. Did you even listen to what she had to say? Like, do you even know what she was saying? In this particular instance, for as sensitive as you are, Shamia, about your position in this group, so is K. Michelle. And you should have been able to recognize that in her and say, girl, I didn't realize that I did to you what I think everybody is doing to me. Okay? But you weren't even willing to give her that because you want to be the only one with a wound, in my opinion. So sometimes you do a lot of shit. You do. Anyway, after she thinks she gets the girls together, don't have these conversations with anybody else outside of our little clique, our little group. Don't bring it up in front of them other bitches because they don't care about us. That type of energy is what she was doing. And none of those girls have given her that. They've tried to correct her. They've tried to help her. They've tried to guide her, but they haven't been giving her a whole lot of shit. And Portia definitely hasn't. Portia is really trying to stay on the other side, right? Anyway, the rest of the girls come in. The rest of the ladies come in and sit down. And Portia looks over at Pinky and says, did you do what we talked about? And you can see all over Shamia's face, she hated that. She looks over at Pinky like, bitch, do you and Portia got something going on? She did not like that one bit. Pinky said, I took care of my part, which also clues Shamia in on, oh, it's Portia who's trying to direct you to do X, Y, and Z. Shamia did not like that at all. Pinky asked Portia, did you do what you were supposed to do? You're the one who didn't do what you were supposed to do. And Portia said, I haven't had a chance. I just got here, child. I've been putting out fires all day, but I just got here. Either way, all I'm going to say is Pinky sitting there saying, girl, you got to go back and watch it from the beginning. Patricia, I explained that and I laid it all out. I laid it all out. But what was I going to say? Pinky says, I think I got everything taken care of between Kay and Shamia. And that makes Shamia upset. You can tell that she did not like that Portia was directing her friendship with K. Michelle. Now, mind you, I know that Portia and Shamia aren't in a good place. I know that Shamia has been trying to get under Portia's skin a little bit, not inviting her to the birthday party, making sure that she knows I'm keeping distance between us, even though Portia has invited her to her home. She's invited her on the trip. She's putting out fires between her and Angela. She's helping move this group along. Shamia is not. Shamia is the one standing firm in the bullshit. Okay. Anyway, moving on. Cynthia ends up thanking Pinky for being a good facilitator to the ladies. And Pinky says something about working for Maury Povich, and she learned a lot about a lot of people skills. So she's like, not a problem. This group is nothing compared to what I used to deal with on the Maury Povich show. And she says she used to really enjoy it. So it's not even a burden to her. Okay. Now we have Miss Kelly. Kelly thanks Phaedra again for helping her with the legal part, right? She helps Kelly again for the legal part. And Portia ends up being asked if she's thinking about settling down with a woman. Portia said that traditionally she's always saw marriage as being between a man and a woman. I always thought that I would marry a man, but now I am grown as fuck. I pay every single bill that comes through my home. Okay. And she said, I enjoy people who enjoy me. Right. And everybody's like, okay, Pastor P. And they're all giving her props. Right. Then Pinky just reveals very open. She said, I used to be in a relationship with a woman. And everybody was like, what? Except for Phaedra. Everybody went, what? Oh, I didn't know that. And Phaedra was just like, okay, girl. Anyway, Phaedra lets the cat out the bag that, baby, it's not a shock that Pinky was with a woman. In fact, that's all she's ever known Pinky to be with is women. And that her marrying a man is actually a shock. Okay. She said, you did it once, you did it twice, you'll do it thrice, baby. It's more interesting to me that you married a man than you've been with a woman, because everybody knows that lady has, she's been on the other side. Right. So Pinky was very easy in sharing her story. She did not have any problems. She said, listen, we ended up breaking up. Things didn't, go well. I ended up meeting my husband. They asked her if she would be with a woman again. And she said, I'm grown as hell. I had fun when I was dating a woman. So maybe, you know what I'm saying? I was like, how did you just forget that you... What does that mean? You done brought all kinds of life to that woman in the basement story. And it also shows that Angela did do a little research, but we all know that all of y'all do research, child. So it is what it is. You said, yeah, that was surprising. Well, I think that when she said that she was with or dated women, or that, for the most part, her history with dating has been mostly with women, it actually made better sense, because that's what it looks like. That's what it looks like in the end. Anyway, nobody gave her any shit about it. They were all cool. Cynthia ends up asking, has anybody else, been with a woman at the table? And they all end up telling their little war stories. Okay. Kelly said that she had a menage with her husband, and she realized from the whole experience that she's a very jealous woman. And she said, I wouldn't put myself in that situation again, because I think that was the downfall of our marriage. She said, I didn't feel good enough. I guess maybe he wanted to have more threesomes. I don't know how many she had, child. But she said, I didn't feel good enough. And at the end of the day, I was constantly questioning what he wanted, if he wanted me, and if I was good enough for him. So wild. Kay Michelle also shared that she was in a very serious relationship with a woman, and pretty much thought that she was a lesbian, that's what she liked, that's what she wanted, until her girlfriend cheated on her with her hairdresser. And she said, then she tried to whoop my ass. So after that experience, she said, listen, I can get that type of drama from a man. So she said that pulled her out of the lesbian relationship world. But she did say that she gets a pass on her birthday or something like that to be with a woman. And she had been talking about how she liked dark-skinned women and whatever. So I don't know if she's all the way out. We'll see. We'll see. Who else? Cynthia ended up sharing Oh, well, first let me tell y'all about Drew. So after K Michelle, Drew also ends up telling a story, but she backtracked again. Okay. So Drew, who has already confessed, was joking about, kissing a girl and liking it because she's talked about it in this very season. Now she says, I could never solely be with a woman and that she only did it to satisfy Ralph. But she made it seem like it happened multiple times. And, you know, now outside of Ralph, I don't think I can do it again. Now, this has everybody sitting at the table, in particular, Portia, who's like, girl, are you out of your mind? But production ends up rolling that beautiful bean footage back, child. And Ralph said, listen, Drew loves being with women. She's been with multiple women. I don't know why she's trying to pretend like she hasn't. They also talked about that basketball player. They did a whole lot of rollbacks for Miss Drew Sidor. It was unfortunate. Cynthia said that she kissed a woman once and Portia threw herself in there. I'm pretty sure she was talking about her modeling days, but Portia threw herself in there and said, girl, and you had your mouth open and you was aggressive when you did it. Okay. And then I think they asked the rest of the ladies, like Phaedra said no. Angela said, no, I've never had the experience. And then Shamia says, no, I've never had the experience either, which makes Drew cock her head to the side like, bitch, didn't Portia accuse you of kissing Candy? And the second she says it, all kinds of guilt riddles this lady's face. Like you can see that Shamia has a hard time. She seems like she's not able to just be truthful. When she can't be truthful, she just loses her shit. Okay. So now she's just looking crazy and she goes, well, I've kissed a woman before. Well, you just said you didn't. You just said you didn't. Now she says, well, I've kissed a woman before, but not Candy. And I've never been with a woman. Anyway, Portia looks like and turns her head down because she doesn't want anybody to read her facial expression. But Portia looks like she knows what's going on. And now Shamia is staring a hole into Portia. And I'm going to tell y'all what this reminded me of. I got to say, I know a lot of people like Shamia, but if Shamia knows that Portia knows her secrets, I don't want her to turn the show into a situation where she feels she has to burn everybody else's house down and get them kicked off the show or whatever the fuck's going to happen in order for people not to talk about her. I would rather you quit. Do not make this another Love and Mirror Huntsville. Please, Lord, child. We don't need no secret stories coming out about people. Keep it on the show. And I know that Bravo would not allow that anyway. They will just fire your ass. They've pulled plenty of contracts. They've made people sign all kinds of NDAs not to talk before ahead of the season. But we can't do that, girl. You shouldn't have come on here trying to fight Portia if that's not where your heart is, because she does know stuff about you. And that's what it looks like. It looks like you're going to try to burn her house down with whatever you know about her mama, you and your mama and her mama, right? Instead of just being cool, because Portia has not said not one solitary word. She's not spoken one secret. And really, anytime people are talking about you, she's been respectful and either has left the room or she looks at them like they're half crazy, because she still has she still protects you in rooms you're not in, whether you think so or not. She does. Okay. Anyway. Now we have Angela again, child. She confronts Shamia about her damn daughter. Lord have mercy. She basically tells her, listen, did you confront my daughter? Did you talk to my daughter when we were at the game? Shamia says she did. She explains to the table what happened. She said that my daughter is nicer than her mama. And her and Shamia get back into it. They go back and forth. Pinky started the convo. Pinky asked what was going on. Shamia gives Pinky another dirty look. Bitch, didn't I just tell you not to put me in these situations with people I don't like? Pinky ends up doing like this to cover her eyes up because you know what Pinky is? She's a producer. She told y'all she was a producer for the Maury Povich show. And even though Shamia is giving her heat, she is producing the shit out of these scenes. She is coming in and she is making sure that the conversations get out there so that they happen, even though Shamia doesn't like it. And I love that for her. I love that she doesn't care. Okay, go ahead and do the dirty work, baby. Anyway, Shamia tells Angela, I absolutely said it. I don't know anything about what you and your daughter got going on, and really, I don't give a shit. But I apologize. Okay, if I did say it, my apologies. She didn't say she wouldn't do it again, though. She just said, I apologize, and she left it at that. And that's when, in confessional, we get Drew Sidor saying that Shamia's conflict with everybody in the group is with Portia. It's really with Portia. So everything that she is feeling is because she can't get it out with Portia, and that is what's obvious. She assumes that because we're friendly with Portia, that we are somehow coming after her, when really Portia isn't even talking to her about her like that because she don't give a shit. Agreed. Okay, now we have Angela say, listen, didn't you say that my husband didn't love me? This is the problem that Angela has with Shamia. Didn't you say that my husband didn't love me? Didn't you say that my husband was outside? Didn't you say blah, blah, blah? Again, Shamia is like, I really don't give a fuck. And at the end of the day, didn't you say the same shit to me? I mean, just a little bit ago, you were saying that I was messing with a man named George, that I literally was fucking another lady's husband. You said that. Angela said, but does that make it right that you said it about me? That you said it about me? Angela, wrong road, girl. Just cut it out. It's a mess at this point. That's when Miss Shamia pulls out her cell phone. She gives it to Pinky. And she said, read the receipts, bitch. Because at this point, I am tired of Angela and everything she stands for. You hear Kelly on the other side of the table say, and say it in your Baltimore voice. And then you hear Portia say, that lady was country as hell because she heard her voice, right? For whatever reason, this offends Kelly. Again, this is exactly what Cynthia was talking about. And this is why Cynthia is vindicated. Because every time Shamia is upset, y'all kick in with all the thunder and all the energy. Let Shamia and Portia handle their own business. Why are you offended? It made no sense to me. But she's over there. Why is she talking all of a sudden? Isn't she the same person who told Shamia, while you were standing there, I will take care of this for you. I will let her know to stop. Did you go down the hall and tell that woman to stop? No. Portia came upstairs from her bedroom to tell Angela to stop. So again, you guys are inserting yourselves in places you shouldn't be in order to make Portia the fucking problem. That's crazy to me. Anyway, that girl, Pinky Cole, ends up reading all the text messages, basically clearing Shamia's name, letting Angela know that that Ashley doesn't trust you, bitch. She said that you were a liar. You were a liar, that you were coming after her. You had a bone to pick with her because of something she said. And she said, I didn't even ask her what you said because it's none of my damn business. I just know that she has something that she's trying to put on you, and she's looking for dirt from anybody she can find it from. So Shamia has somebody else read that to let Angela know everything I said about you earlier was true. Angela said, girl, I'm not thinking about that shit because I called Ashley. I called Ashley and we talked for 2 minutes. And then they go back and forth with each other. Again, petty bullshit, petty nonsense. Portia asked them to please stop before y'all get us kicked out the restaurant. Phaedra says something like, listen, kids are off limits, child. I don't know why y'all keep doing this to each other, but kids are off limits. I know y'all get sensitive about your marriage and shit, but the kids don't ask to be a part of this. You signed a contract and your husband is supposed to be a part of it. So whatever comes to both of y'all comes to both of y'all. It is what it is. Fight it back, right? She's not lying. That's true. You asked to be a part of this shit. Now you have everybody in Shamia's camp again. Everybody at this point, because Cynthia's on the side saying, bitch, nobody believes Angela. Angela's going out bad. Phaedra's pretending like she's in a court of law and said Angela is a liar. Nobody believes her, right? Everybody keeps saying that Portia's side isn't on Shamia's team. They all came through for her and said, absolutely not. We don't believe her, right? They were calling her a lapdog. Portia said, could y'all please stop calling that woman a lapdog? Like, I know you're trying to make it seem like, you know, she was trying to defend me, but the truth of the matter is we got to let this die, right? Anyway, last scene. Last scene is who? I got to do this from memory. Phaedra, Portia, Cynthia, Drew, Sidora. They're all in a room talking about what happened during the day. And then we get Kelly comes in to just sit down with the ladies. And Kelly and Portia end up having a heart-to-heart, right? They were reading the news for the day, which basically said that Kelly's husband was suing Bravo for $200 million. And Cynthia said, baby, it'll be a cold day in hell. He's never going to get it, right? But they're in there gossiping about her. And Miss Kelly comes into the room to talk to Phaedra about it, basically saying, this man is trying to get me fired. Like, what is my legal remedy for this? And all the ladies rally behind Miss Kelly to say, girl, we are sorry you're going through this. And you got to just realize this shit might feel embarrassing, but stop paying attention to what everybody else is saying. And you only worry about taking care of yourself and your children. Find a house for you and your kids. It doesn't have to be a mansion. It doesn't have to be what you had before. Just make sure it is comfortable for you and your kids, right? And then Portia even shares shit about herself. She said, baby, if I can't continue to live in the house that Simon built or bought, I will find a house for me and my daughter, and I don't give a fuck what anybody else has to say, okay? Just stop being embarrassed and stop letting people shame you for things, right? They all give a story. Drew Sidora said the same thing. I don't know what's going to happen between me and Ralph. We got financial problems. This divorce is about to bring us to, down to $0 and everything. You had Cynthia also say, baby, I didn't know what I was going to do when I had to divorce Peter. He owed me $300,000. I was at $0, right? So they're all telling her, they're all being very vulnerable with her and telling her what's going on. Phaedra ends up giving a prayer, said what her favorite prayer was. Okay, when I was old, when I was young, whatever she said, Psalm something, 37, 35, something like that. Anyway, they all get it out and they rally behind Miss Kelly and let her know, girl, we do a lot on the show, but we understand at the end what this really is. And it really was like old school RHOA, because even though they would go at each other, when we learned about the behind the scenes, like later, when they said, listen, we would all get together and basically just whatever one person needed, we all made sure they had it. Even though we would go after each other on the show, we all were supportive of each other and understanding this is our job. And, in real life, we can still be cool. So it was a good moment. Anyway, that's pretty much it, y'all. That was a show. Ooh, it's late. This was a long one. I am so sorry, but y'all had to get it out. I had to get it out. So anyway, I appreciate y'all who came over to listen to this because it was a long one. I really enjoyed this episode, which is why I wanted to talk about it. I especially wanted to talk about it because I think people are really mixing up what Angela's beef, what her true beef is with Shamia, and they keep pawning it off on Portia. It's not Portia. It's a true beef with Shamia. And if y'all go back and watch, you will get it. But outside of that, that's it. And I want to thank Mr. Kevin for coming in. I appreciate you. Thank you for helping out. And thank you also, Miss Lady D Keys. And thank you to everybody who came into the chat. If you guys are watching the replay, let's get this poll up here. I asked whose side were you guys on? Were you on Angela's side or Shamia's side? And 70% of y'all picked Shamia's side. 30% of y'all picked Angela's side. I am on Shamia's side with this one because I think Angela played herself. I think she played herself. I think that go back and listen to it. I told y'all how I felt about Angela. I think Angela's just insecure about her marriage. She knows that Charles is in the basketball world. He has a lot of friends. And I think Shamia hangs out with some of those friends. And she's sensitive about it. Shamia's a good-looking woman. And I think people talk about her like she's a good-looking woman, right? She said that George had made that comment about Shamia. I had to pay her. She looked good. I had to pay her, right? She knew better. She knew better, but I think that she feels a way about that. I think she brings out a lot of insecurities about her in her relationship, and she just has to get to the bottom of that. But anyways, y'all, thank you for coming over and hanging out with me. Child, it's almost 1 o'clock. I'm about to go to bed so I can do my morning walk. I got to get my exercise in, my 10,000 steps. Thank you to every single one of you who came over and joined me for this live. I appreciate y'all and your support. Hit the like button, share the video, follow me on all platforms at DYANAROZAY. Thank you to my moderators. Until the next one, I'll see ya. Bye-bye.